Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Up first today, Dwayne Taves visits with Joe Prasaki with USDA's National Ag Statistics Service. Then enjoy this week's Kansas soybean update. Next, Kyle Bauer catches up with John Larson with American Farmland Trust. Then it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Dwayne. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. First today, Dwayne and Joe Prasaki discuss the importance of the data collected by the USDA's National Ag Statistics Service and the upcoming Census of Agriculture.
Dwayne Taves joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Joe Prasaki with USDA's National Ag Statistics Service. Joe, certainly we think about the data that's mined, if you will, by USDA NASS, extremely important, and not only for the folks on the outside of agriculture, but those within agriculture as well.
That's very true, because the data, our tools, are part of the decision-making process. The more data you have, the better decisions someone can make.
We think about the way that has come about. A lot of folks are concerned always about confidentiality and privacy of their data, if you will. One thing about it, when you work with a USDA NASS survey, you can feel comfortable that information will never ever be turned loose with an individual specific name attached to it.
That's a very true statement, because all the individuals in the organization, we are very well schooled on confidentiality. Confidentiality is the lifeblood of what we do, because that maintains that person's data cannot be shared with anyone. And we basically, when it comes to data processing, we separate the names and addresses of individuals from the data itself. So there's really no disconnect, and it's all on secure servers.
Talk to us a little bit, Joe, about upcoming survey and why it's important that folks take the time to fill it out to the best of their ability.
So coming up at the end of 2017, so a year from now, will be something called the Census of Agriculture, which is conducted every 5 years. This project will send out approximately 3 million questionnaires to farmers, ranchers, growers across the United States. And it's a way to have information at the local level, at the county level. It gives a complete snapshot of the farm and rural activities in a particular county.
And we think about why a census is important. It does give us data points through time to see what kinds of trends and changes are taking place. That allows lawmakers and others to tailor programs then to fit the needs of rural America.
Exactly, and it's not only farmers, like you said, but it tailors the needs to all of rural America. Because in certain parts of the country, as you know, there are, I would say, it's like small type operations that are popping up around city centers. And I don't know if you call them hobby farmers, part-time farmers, or what, but census data like that we talked about provides retailers and such information or a trend. Hey, is there a need for some sort of extra services to be provided at a particular county or a locality?
Final thoughts from USDA NASS for individuals?
Yeah, the final thoughts that I would like to share with anybody. I want to thank everyone that takes the time to fill out those questionnaires that we sent out, USDA NASS, or one of our telephone enumerators to call you up. Because who can provide the best information about what's going on a particular individual's operation? It's the producer themselves. It's not a satellite flying over above us. It's that producer on the ground that knows what's going on in their place.
Our thanks to Joe Prasaki with USDA NASS joining us on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Dwayne. Stay with us after these messages for this week's Kansas soybean update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at KFRM.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Supply. This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Jane DeMarchi, Vice President of Government and Regulatory Affairs with the American Seed Trade Association, joins us. And Jane, as soybean producers plant their 2017 crop, it's a good reminder to producers about the safe use of their treated seed.
We want to remind farmers about the 5 critical steps for stewardship of treated seed. The first one's pretty obvious: follow directions. The second one is to try and minimize dust as you're planting. You know, the industry has worked hard to develop some new lubricant technology, which is really effective in minimizing dust. Next, make sure to eliminate flowering weeds in and around your field that can be attractive to bees. And if you have bees in the area or beekeepers in the area, go ahead and talk to them and be aware of where they are and what they're doing, and so that the beekeepers can be aware of what you're doing too. And lastly, the most important thing that we want to remind farmers is to make sure to clean out your equipment of any treated seed after planting, particularly if you use that same equipment for harvesting. You want to make sure any treated seed is removed so we do not get treated seed into grain channels.
Because if they get into grain channels, that causes a myriad of problems.
A myriad of problems for the farmer and for the elevator as well. And for more information about these and other steps for stewardship, I can direct farmers to the Seed Treatment Guide. It's seed-treatment-guide.com. There's lots of good, useful information there about seed treatment and pollinators and other topics.
And this is really both for farmers and for those who do the applications, too.
We have an entire guide for seed treatment applicators because everybody plays an important role in stewardship of treated seed.
And why do farmers use those seed treatments?
Farmers use seed treatments because they know it's their best opportunity to protect the seed and the seedling from early season pests and diseases. The numbers are pretty clear in soybeans that seed treatments can help folks plant earlier and make sure that they have all those plants can come up and they've got something to harvest at the end. You know, there's been a lot of attention on seed treatments, and we always like to point out it's a very minimal amount of active ingredient that is on the treated seed, much better than a foliar spray application. Those spray applications aren't going to work. There's no way to rescue a plant that doesn't come up out of the ground.
And once again, what's the website they can go to get more about seed treatment?
The website is seed-treatment-guide.com.
That is Jane DeMarchi, Vice President of Government and Regulatory Affairs with the American Seed Trade Association. She joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor with Kyle Bauer and John Larson.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego is driven by the spirit of American ingenuity. Come in for a new Chevrolet car, truck, or SUV. If we don't have exactly what you want, we'll find it for you. And we also have a great selection of used cars. We make sure you have an easy, fun, and transparent sales experience that saves you time and money. But if you want high-pressure salesmen and hours spent in the finance office, you'll just have to go elsewhere. Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're making car buying great again.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle and John talk about protecting farmland from urban sprawl.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with John Larson. He's with American Farmland Trust. John, I'm going to let you explain who American Farmland Trust is.
Sure. American Farmland Trust is a nonprofit that was formed in 1980, specifically looking at the sprawl that was going on across the country and wanting to put in place an organization that really focused on protecting farmland. So from the perspective of not necessarily anti-development, but more in the perspective of where are our most productive ag lands in proximity to urban centers. And let's make sure that we protect those lands in such a way that people have the ability to produce the food, the feed, the fiber, and the fuel that they need.
But you protect it and not through statutory work.
Right, all voluntary, utilizing programs where there is funding available to pay that difference in the development value and then put it actually on the deed that it is protected in perpetuity as an ag value.
And what are some of the most recent initiatives you're working on?
So one of the ones we're really excited about right now is our State of America's Farmland initiative, and it is a Geographic Information System, GIS initiative, utilizing a number of different data layers for us to be able to show where are the ag lands that we've lost since 1982, and then projectively looking at it from the perspective of where are those most productive lands that are in the risk of being lost. So utilizing that big data to actually help us to target. We don't want to, and it would be silly for us to try. There's not enough resources that every acre of farm and ranch land should be protected. But strategically, there are those places where, so that we don't have sprawl and we don't lose those productive acres, that we target them in those ways that then are of our value to communities.
I assume most of your work would be on the peripheral of large urban areas?
Yeah, that's where we're really focused because that's where the most threat is. You know, the one thing I like to use is the analogy of cities and big urban centers are in those places that they're at because of the productivity of that. There's availability of water, essential to human life. There's good productive soil. So thinking about it in the long-term context, let's make sure that we're not paving over that which produces what we need. Not what we want, but what we need.
Now you mentioned, though, this would be attached to the deed. So is that through perpetuity? Could I imagine that because of urban sprawl, I would see a piece of farmland well within a city in the future?
Well, utilizing smart growth and thinking about it strategically as far as how much do we think that urban center needs to move out rather than move up. Density, population, looking at it from the perspective of, okay, long-term over time, what kind of densities do we think are the most strategic? So my hope is, and we've seen this in one example I can give you is in Modesto, California, where the city needed to expand its boundary, wanted to move out into the very productive farmland to the west of the city, and the farmers said, no, this is some of our best ground. And so a corridor of easements was put in place that really stopped development. And it was strategic in that it didn't allow, and the city didn't want to, jump over the easements, and so actually developed up into the highlands, which is where the development should have gone.
Visiting with John Larson, he's with American Farmland Trust. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com. Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau update.
With the Donald Trump administration issuing its intent to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement, the American Farm Bureau Federation says the top priority for farmers and ranchers in the negotiation process is protecting markets for U.S. agriculture. AFBF economist Veronica Nye says AFBF looks forward to working with the administration and Congress during the renegotiation process to maintain and improve trade between the NAFTA partners.
It's important to remember that combined, more than 1/3 of U.S. ag exports go to our Canadian and Mexican partners. Certainly there are areas for modernization, but these are vital markets for us, and we need to maintain these important relationships that we've developed.
While protecting the current markets included in NAFTA is a top priority, Nye says the renegotiations could address issues to improve agricultural trade between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico.
There's always things that you can improve on an agreement that was negotiated 25 years ago. Some of those relate to agriculture, including sanitary and phytosanitary measures, intellectual property rights, regulatory practices, and custom procedures. And more specifically, that means regulations around biotechnology, issues related to animal and plant health, geographic indicators, and some issues around trade in specific commodities like poultry, dairy, and fresh fruits and vegetables.
She says negotiations can begin in August.
The May 18th notice to Congress triggers a 90-day process for USTR to consult with Congress and decide on a set of detailed negotiating objectives. Importantly, 30 days before the U.S. team can negotiate with our Mexican and Canadian counterparts, that wish list has to be made public. So if everything follows the 90 days, it means that negotiations can begin August 16th at the earliest.
Michael Clements, Washington.
We'll be back right after this break with this week's Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I was in an accident where I fell off a roof. I don't know why I started to research stem cells, but I did. And I visited with the doctors. They were excellent. I had my neck done, my shoulders done, section of my back, my hips, my sacrum, my sciatica, and my tailbone. Now I am having better range of motion in my arms and my neck and my back. It was a long road to get there, but I'm so glad that I found them.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Dwayne are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the blind Dwayne Taves.
I keep shifting my hands. I got to get it to the right spot.
Okay, you want me to hold it over
here?
here?
I need bifocals instead of my readers.
You just need a focal.
I need a focal. The world's oldest recorded example of prosthetics, Kyle, are in the Egyptian Museum of Cairo. Fact or fiction?
Okay, the Egyptian Museum of Prosthetics.
No. Egyptian Museum of Cairo.
Cairo.
The world's oldest recorded examples of prosthetics.
I'll go true.
It is true.
The Egyptians have had museums around for a long time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Both prosthetics are toes. I'm not sure
why
you would
you'd
need
want
a prosthetic toe.
Yeah.
Although I've heard that if you lose your little toe, it's hard to walk
I've heard
straight.
It's your big toe.
Or is it your balance that you have?
I thought it was your big toe. You couldn't have your balance if you lost your big toe.
I think everybody try this.
Everybody right now, stand
I
up.
think you lean over on your little toe. I think a little toe would be a problem. Big toe would keep you from motivating, I think. Nonetheless, in Egypt, one was fashioned from a type of paper mache and fabric, the other from wood and leather. So,
Old wood toe.
Old wooden toe.
During World War II, U.S. airplanes were armed with belts of bullets, which they would shoot during dogfights and on strafing runs.
Sure.
These belts were folded into the wing compartments that fed the machine guns. These belts measured 27 feet. Okay. And contained hundreds of rounds of bullets. Oftentimes, the pilot would return from his mission having expended all of their bullets on various targets.
Okay.
I mean, no reason to bring them back.
Yeah, but it's not good to run completely out.
I would not disagree with that.
You want to keep one in the chamber.
Yeah, exactly right.
So to
and they
speak.
would say, I gave them the whole 9 yards. That's where that expression came from.
You think?
That's the only expression I got. Where do you got a better one?
The
It
whole
says
9
it right here. I
yards.
got this off the internet.
And therefore
it might be true.
Be true.
Yeah.
27 feet would be
the whole 9 yards.
9 yards.
You're not believing. See, just like you give me the fact or fiction stuff out there, I don't believe that stuff either. Yeah.
That's like when you look back and they do those comparisons between couple of the presidents who had been killed, or assassinated actually, and it was like this one's secretary was named Smith, and that one was.
Well, I think you're talking about the Johnson, or Lincoln, and then the Kennedy Johnson one. Yes,
and it's like yeah, they are. I mean, it does seem kind of interesting that there were those similarities, but it's like take two events of any kind. And you hunt hard enough, you can probably find things that relate to the two of them.
The only thing that I'm willing to hunt that hard for is for my cell phone.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.